War Eagle War Rapport family, I am your host, C Dub. Tonight, we discuss the captains for the 2022 season, which players we think will have a breakout year, and last but not least, we preview the special teams unit. All that and more in tonight's edition of the Mid-Week Rapport. War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle, War Eagle. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to everyone. Welcome to the latest Midweek Rapport. I'm joined by Ike Jones, B. Will, and Mike G. And we're brought to you by show sponsor auburnsports.com. Guys, please head on over there to get your latest in terms of news regarding Auburn football, recruiting, and all news Auburn athletics. Shout out to JG Tate and those guys for doing an exceptional job covering Auburn athletics. And we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. Now, we need your support. You viewing us is definitely a big help, but we need more, okay? We need more. We need you to share this video, guys, on your social media. Use the hashtag, get your weight up, help people to find our content, join in on the discussion, help us grow our community. Now, you can also smash that like button while you're watching. And if you're new to our channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. As for monetary support, guys, Ike,
yeah.
Come on.
Today is the last day.
Today's the day.
I'm saying it. Like, if you ain't on board, then you have to wait to the next game to get in on this drawing for these tickets. But as members of the War Report, y'all already know we do these ticket giveaways, and we actually may have more than 2 tickets to give away. We normally give them away in pair. We may have more than that to give away for this first game. Waiting to confirm some things on that. But y'all are going to be hearing about some tickets being given away. So, man, you guys need to make sure that you're on board with that. And coming up soon, you're going to get your first dose of this. Watch the film type stuff that we got popping off. And just get on board with the War Report, man. You see what the prices are right there, unless you're on an Apple device. And then, you know, you got to pay a little extra money. But as already stated, we are giving away tickets to the Mercer game, a pair of tickets to one of our members. You have to be a member to be able to be on board with this. So make sure that you're on with the membership situation there. Green names is how it's going to go down. Today and every live, we are doing these giveaways. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to give that away. Sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hit up wareagleoil.com for all of your motor oil and motor related products. But we're going to do the Weagle War Damn Eagle t-shirt today. And yeah, man, make sure that you guys are locked in with all we got going on so that you too can take the benefits of being a member of the War Report and share it with your friends. And if you want to like give a membership or gift a membership to somebody else, you can do that too. We'll talk more about that later. But thank you for those that have already done the gifted memberships.
So I looked to see when the kickoff time is for Mercer. It's 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So we're technically a little under 10 days into kickoff. We're getting closer and closer.
It's flying by now. It's flying by.
It don't even feel like it's that close. You know, we're that close to kickoff. But how are we feeling with this team? Noise has kind of died down a little bit with Auburn. I know we've been a lot of speculation in terms of who's going to win what positions in fall camp. How are we feeling less than 10 days away? I'll start with you, Ike.
I mean, listen, I am not worried about this Mercer game. Right. So the outcome of the game is not what I'm worried about. What I am anxious to see is what the offense is going to look like. This will be the first time in 3 seasons that someone not named Bo Nix will be the starting quarterback for Auburn University. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the what the offense is going to look like with somebody else at the helm, man. There's no way to predict this, right? Like, we can talk about potential and all this kind of stuff until you see it on the field. We don't know. So I'm just kind of waiting, man, to see what we're going to do. I think the guys are super juiced up on this team and they're ready to go out there. But hopefully they're going to play discipline, and we will see an absolute destruction of the Mercer Bears here in a couple of days.
Are they the Bears?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know they were Bears.
Yeah, I didn't know they were Bears either.
Right.
But Mike,
hell with them Bears.
Mike, how you feeling, sir?
All right. So I tweeted out before the show today. There's no point in being upset about what we haven't seen yet. Zero. So I'd rather have a conversation about what actually happens on the field. All this talk about what people think is going to happen is for the birds, right? Or for the Bears or whatever. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new and improved Auburn Tigers in year 2 of the Bryan Harsin era. Now, they have some challenges that they had to overcome from camp. It's being pretty much widely reported now that Nick Brahms may not be good to go. He was in my top 5 offensive players. That's a huge hit. So I definitely don't want to see that happen, right? Like, I'm hoping maybe something will work out for that young man, not only for himself, but for the team. So my prayers are with Nick Brahms and whatever he's going through right now, medically and health-wise. Outside of that, now's when we start to pull for Auburn. Root for Auburn. That's where we're at. That's the zone we're in right now. Time to root for Auburn. All this talk about who the starting quarterback's going to be, it's going to be whoever they send out there at this point. Right. All the offseason debate over who that guy should be, it's winding down until we've seen something on the field. So whoever they send out there, I'm hoping maybe after game 1, we learn we got 2 guys that can get the job done.
Yep.
I don't understand why it has to be one or the other. Why can't TJ Finley go out there and be an improved version of himself, and Robbie Ashford be the thing that gives us hope for the future, similar to what we thought we had in 2014 with Nick Marshall and Jeremy Johnson? I don't know why those things can't be true. So just because a guy didn't win the job,
things are always bad.
Yeah. So this is I like to growl at the end. So this is the time where we start to put off-season narratives to bed, and we need to start in-season narratives about what this team is going to be. And, the talk needs to be centered around what they do or don't accomplish on the field. I'm ready for it. I think you guys are ready for it in the comments. It's going to be exciting. I'm hoping that this staff delivers us something that we haven't had really in a while, and that's true hope. True hope that this thing is trending the right direction. That's what I hope for from game 1.
Yeah. And Mike and don't use
that word until next Wednesday.
All right.
Next Wednesday we'll start talking about what we think the defense is going to do. So
fine.
Yeah, I need to see a lineup. I need to see a lineup and a true depth chart before we start talking about the thing.
All right. That's how you want to play it today. All right.
I'm ready to scream it. I'm ready to scream it.
Okay.
Ready for it. He's ready.
Well, Nick Brahms that's definitely unfortunate news, and I echo your sentiments, Mike G, concerning Nick. Is it a little encouraging though, that with Tate Johnson stepping in, we haven't seen a lot of shuffling at center? We've seen shuffling at the guard position, but Tate has been kind of holding on to that through scrimmages and practices pretty strong. So does that give us some? I mean, we know losing the experience that Nick Brahms was definitely going to bring in this season doesn't help. But is it encouraging to know that we've had a consistent guy at that position in Nick Brom's absence?
Yes and no. It could be that he is the most fit for that role and nobody else is. So it could be this is what we got. And this is the best thing we've got. You got 2 offensive line guys because Will Friends won. We've actually got an assistant offensive line coach. And then Coach Bedell, who coaches the tight ends, used to coach offensive line. So we've got roughly 3 offensive line coaches on the staff. And if between the 3 of them, they decide, yeah, you're going to be our center, it could be because he is showing all of the competencies that you want to see, or could be because nobody else is showing them. So whether it's the
I
A
hope
or
it's
B,
not that second scenario.
yeah.
Really
But whether it is the first or the second, Tate Johnson is what we got. We heard some. We were asked, or not we were asked, but the staff was asked about Tate Johnson, what he's been able to do so far in camp, and I think it was actually, I can't remember which player, but they said, well, I wasn't sure, looking at him when we first got here, if he was going to be able to hold up at this level. Like just the eye test, he didn't quite pass it. So for the last 2 seasons and off seasons, he's been getting his body up to speed. He's become the player that can hold up across the line in SEC play. And we will see. I hate for a make or break season like the one we're about to play in a lot of different ways to be the season where he gets tested as somebody who didn't quite look the part physically coming in. That's, this is not the circumstance, under which you want your guy to have to do this, but it makes me wonder. I know Brahms was out for the spring. Who got most of the reps in the spring?
Jaleel Irvin.
Okay, so it was Irving in the spring. So Tate Johnson hasn't even had the benefit of springtime and fall to work at center. This is kind of a new development here, then, right?
So I need to go back and look at A-Day and see if Johnson was the second string center then, though.
Okay.
But Irvin was who started A-Day at center.
Okay, so I mean, they have some guys who have been working there. What I'm going to trust here with this staff is that you're going to win a
play
job.
some center too, not a lot, but
Okay.
And he has played it traditionally, but I don't think he's played it. He wasn't doing it during the spring here.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay. So he played coming out of high school is what you're saying.
He played a little bit at, he transferred in. So he played a little bit at who was Akron, I think a little bit too.
Oh,
so.
Okay. So I'm hoping that if he's at that position, especially if somebody else had been practicing in the spring of that position, at the very least, it makes the assumption the coaches think he can handle it just as well or better than Irving. And that's why he's got the job right now. So I'm going to put my faith in the coaches. Like Mike G said, we're here. It's time. Sweating and debating over whether or not somebody should have a role that they don't have. I'm not a football coach. I can't go down there and look at one guy and say, oh, man, you definitely should be. They all look like big dudes to me. I don't know anything until I see them playing on Saturday and I can say, you got blown by. Maybe you're not the guy. Or, that throw was a mile off. Maybe you're not the guy. Other than that, what do I know about evaluation? I don't know anything until we see the results. There are people who are getting big paychecks to evaluate and see it beforehand and choose the right guy and put them on the field in position. I'm going to trust those guys and what they think is the best thing right now.
Indeed. Let's talk about some news that did come out this week. Auburn announced its captains.
Hey,
Derek Hall, Papo, Shanker. They're named the team captains for the 2022 season. How are we feeling about this? I will start with you, Mike G.
congrats to our guy, John Samuel Shanker.
Yeah.
Friend of the show. So happy for John Samuel that he won. Won. It's not an award, but he was chosen. This is chosen by their peers.
Yeah.
Right. Their peers said this guy is a leader on the field. He is somebody that we look to for leadership, and it's an honor to be chosen as a team captain. Absolutely is an honor to be chosen as a team captain. I think it says a lot about who he is as a person, his work ethic. No surprise that Derek Hall got chosen as a team captain. Go look at any hype video of Auburn this offseason. Derek Hall is in it, looking like he can bench press a bus and hyping his teammates up. And then Owen Papo, another guy who they expect to have a really good season. He's going to be a quarterback on that defense. I think that they're going to be looking to him for leadership. He talked in the press conference. If you haven't seen this video, we have it posted on our channel about, how he has taken the role of mentoring the young guys that have come in. So, any great team needs great leaders. And I think that the 3 young men that they chose exemplify what it means to be a leader and what it means to be an Auburn man. I'm super excited about this. I think this is something that'll get overlooked. A lot of fans will just brush over this and say, oh, we don't care about captains. We just want to know who the quarterback is. But this is important. And leadership shows up on Saturdays, right? So when you lose a leader, it's going to hurt your team, right? These are 3 guys that you hope make it all the way through the season, because they will pull the other guys along and they will keep Auburn in that right place mentally to win games. I love it for all 3 of these guys that they got chosen. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like on the field.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that 2 of these guys, Sanzo and Papo, 2 of these guys opted back in. Derek Hall could have went on to the draft.
I certainly could have.
Schenker, yeah. I mean, these guys could have went on to bigger and better things, but they chose to come back. And I don't think it's ironic that these guys are your leaders because of that. These are guys who absolutely bought in to what Harsin is trying to do. So I think it says a lot that these guys ended up being chosen captains as well. Are there any surprises? And Will, talk to me. Were you surprised at the selections? Granted, we're happy for these guys, but were you expecting to hear anyone else being announced as captain?
Well, something I always look out for is, because of the position of quarterback and its importance to the team, you always think, okay, a quarterback that has any established value, let's say that, is likely to get a nod, right, as a captain, at least one of the captains. And Finley didn't, because, well, it's not really settled who the quarterback is. So that makes a lot of sense why he didn't get that nod. Now, we heard a lot about his maturity in the offseason, and how he's grown up, not only with the team and with the offense, but, taking leadership role when it comes to the offense and the other players. So I thought there was an outside chance because of that, because of the high praise he's received there, he might be a captain. But when I saw who was selected, I was like, oh, yeah.
They went with all seniors, didn't they?
All seniors.
Yeah, they're all seniors. Yeah, that makes sense.
Seniors. So that makes complete sense. A guy in Hall who's going to be, NFL draft prime real estate for us, as far as bringing that attention to Auburn and the defense. Schenker, who's a 5th-year guy, and Papo, who's a 4th-year guy, who I'm sure had aspirations to go after year 3, injury riddled year 3, and here to make it right, to get his stock up. I don't think there's anybody who could speak better for the team and represent the team better than the guys they got. So I think they got it right.
And I was thinking about this as well, Corey Weber. He says, I'm surprised Tank wasn't chosen. Before they announced who it was, I was wondering would they name Tank, but to your point, when I saw who they named, it made a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah, man. Seniority seems to mean something to these coaches.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I know Tank is 100% a vocal leader on this team. I don't think this says that he isn't. But they went with the older guys on this.
And again, this is
their peers.
I'm about to say this is the players who voted this, right?
So,
True.
The players recognize these guys as the ones who they want to have leadership, and they clearly are the ones that, because of their seniority, familiarity, the players are like, yeah, these are the guys who I want to represent us on Saturdays. So definitely looking forward to seeing what that leadership produces on the field, because to the point I think Mike was making about the attitude, or attitude reflects leadership. That's the whole quote, right? But the attitude on the team being if the attitude of this team is a reflection of those 3 gentlemen, let's just look at it from that perspective. You've got a very focused and relentless Derek Hall. You've got a very passionate and kind of just consistency in John Samuel Schenker. And then you've got a guy who, by most people accounts, is just a hardworking, he doesn't let the fact that he's physically gifted get in the way of him working super hard day in and day out. When we talk about the weight vest thing, he was the first guy that was like, I'm going to throw the vest on, right? Accepting additional responsibility and stepping up, fighting his way back from adversity with the injury. That's what so if our team looks like those three guys, we're going to have a good squad.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Indeed. Definitely looking forward to what these guys produce on the field for sure. Let's talk about breakout players. And I know we're going to be doing a lot of previewing the next week when we talk about Auburn and what we think they'll do for the season, as well as the upcoming game against Mercer. Is there a player that you've been keeping an eye on throughout this offseason, spring ball, that you've been keeping your eye on, that you're excited about, that you think this is the year? This is the year for this particular person.
You say this is the year, and that whole that little, that.
Shut up! Don't do that.
Yeah, you know
Don't
what I'm
do
saying. Mike, how what? What,
No,
Mike? What?
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
But we want to talk seriously. We want to talk. Who do you believe this year has a breakout year for this team? We've talked about the captains and who those guys are and what we hope will produce. Who takes a major step forward, either offensive, defense, for you, and why? I'll start with you, Mike.
Malcolm Johnson Jr.
Consistency
and Jarquez Hunter.
Okay.
I think these guys take major steps forward. I think they are the future. They're part of the future of this team going into 2023. I think Jarquez Hunter has a chance to do something special here at Auburn. Just one of the hardest working guys I've ever seen. He's a complete monster in the weight room. He can literally bench press the Haley Center and squat the Haley Center. He's strong. And we saw what he was able to do in flashes last year. I think if this O-line has improved in run blocking, you could see somebody like him, kind of like a change up back when you put him in there, just go freaking nuts this fall. So I'm excited about watching Jarquez Hunter, and then Malcolm Johnson Jr. Man, I've been high on him for a while. Again, the same reports that I'm hearing about Malcolm coming out of camp is that he is stronger than he's ever been. He has worked his butt off. I've heard the addition of some of these transfer guys pushed his game to the next level as well too. So somebody who stepped his game up and said, listen, you're not just going to walk in here and take my spot. I love that about these kids, man. So
competition can actually push people to get better. That's
didn't run from the competition, didn't complain, just got to work. Now, I did have a chance to, sit down with Malcolm for lunch, a few weweeks ago. And I asked him a simple question about what did you learn? What have you learned since you've been at Auburn? And he looked at me and he said that you can't quit when the going gets tough. I came to Auburn because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and make history. And he feels like he's done that. I mean, I'm in no position to argue with a guy when he said that. He said it with conviction, man. Like you could see in his face that it hasn't been smooth sailing to this point. But this is the year that you go out there and you show everybody why they should have been talking about you the whole time. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I've been talking about him the whole time. But listen, the rest of y'all need to jump on the Malcolm Johnson train now. Because I think he could be a star this season if we get what we expect from the quarterback position. So if we get some more catchable balls thrown at these guys, Malcolm Johnson, man, I think I can't wait to see it. Now, defensively, I'm looking forward to Pritchett and Simpson having good years as well, too. Now, I expect big things out of Derek Hall and Eku and Owen. I mean, I think that kind of goes without saying. But in that secondary, there are shoes to fill. Pritchett has got burners. I'm going to be interested to see if he can harness that speed in a way that helps this team replace Roger McCreary's shoes in combination with one of the biggest hitters we've seen at the defensive back position in Auburn history, and Jalen Simpson. So it'll be interesting. I mean, there are a lot of potential breakout stars on this team, and everybody's looking at 6 and 7 last year and just disregarding the talent just because it didn't translate to 9 wins last season.
Right.
But it was damn close. So look out for those 4 guys, I think, to really make some waves this year. I want to see it game 1 possibly for Simpson and Pritchett in the form of a thing.
That.
Yep.
The S word.
What's that?
Gotcha.
Yep.
Say, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you, Mike, in terms of your guy. You've been big on that receiver for what, since last year?
yeah, it's just tough to evaluate receivers, man, when quarterback play is inconsistent and you're always throwing on obvious passing downs, and you know what I mean? But now I think he has really earned the position of one of those most senior guys that's hardworking. I expect big things out of Shed Jackson this year. I hope so. This is last year, man. You don't have another year to show that you can do this. So go out there and do your thing on the field, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm a senior, man, let these young guns wait their turn. If
sure.
I've been in this offense grinding since day one, wait your damn turn and watch me work. So I expect that out of Malcolm and Shed this year. And if they don't get it done, it's next man up. But I really think these guys will get it done.
I like Malcolm on offense. Even though I'm not expecting him to be a stat pad or get a lot of stats, I'm picking Jason Jones. I think he's going to be a big part of this defense. Like I think everyone eats because of what he's able to do up front. And my hope is that you can try to double team Derek Hall. You can try to double team Colby, but you're going to have a problem with Jason Jones up in the middle. Like you can't lose sight of him.
Danny Cannell, literally on that ridiculous podcast we talked about on Sunday, said, I think the middle of this defensive line is soft and going to be a problem. What? You potato? What are you talking about? That D-line is going to be nasty.
Mike, just go ahead and curse.
Yeah, he's a potato. You desk lamp. What are you talking about? You stupid doorknob.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I talked to me, man. Who's your breakout? Who's your breakout this year?
So one of the guys that Mike said is foregone conclusion, I think, has a monstrous year because he's going to be more than a third down pass rush specialist. And I think that's Echo Leota. I think Echo Leota is going to have an absolutely
love that pick.
Nasty season. I just feel like he knows this is his year to make ground in getting drafted. I think Echo Leota is going to do something great. The other guy that I'm looking for on the defense is one that Mike mentioned as well, and that's Jalen Simpson, man. I was already a fan of Jalen Simpson in his ability to tackle in the open field. I think he's one of the more sure tacklers that I've seen from a defensive back in a while. Like he just doesn't miss a ton of tackles. I'm not saying he never misses, but he doesn't miss a lot. And they're talking about how much he's added speed. And that can't do anything but help his coverage ability because he already had the raw coverage skills. So if you got a guy who closes well and can close faster now and has the ability to take good angles and tackle well, he's going to have a really good season, man. Like if he stays healthy, that's really been the biggest issue with Jalen Simpson since he's been at Auburn is his health. He stays healthy. I think that that he's going to have a great year in the defensive backfield. Flipping over to the offensive side of the ball, I think I'm looking forward to seeing how we deploy Landon King in this offense. I think Landon King could be a guy who makes big. I mean, he already has just that kind of big catch ability. Like you see him show up in big moments, making big catches. I think he's got a ton of energy. He's just kind of like one of those guys you want to see be successful because it feels like when he starts getting the rolling, he gives energy to everybody else on the team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Landon King does. And then the other guy who I think is poised for a breakout season is going to be, and if you listen to anybody talk about him, they call him Check. I'm looking for Dawson to come out here in this slot position and really make people look silly out there on the field. He's got all the wiggle. He's got all the speed. Hopefully securing catches isn't an issue just based upon that one drop in 8A. Like, I don't want to make that to be the totality of who he is as a receiver, but I'm looking forward to Tavares Dawson having a really good season this year as well. So those would be the guys that I would pick.
Before we get to the break, B. Will, who you liking?
On defense, I would say Marcus Harris, man. Marcus Harris came in here and he showed a lot of potential year one, but with what they've been able to do with their bodies, what we're hearing about how much guys have improved in speed and power and fundamental skill, I'm expecting a big year for him, not only because he will be improved, but everybody else along that line. We've got at least, well, really, if I'm looking at it, Colby's and Harris are inside in the two defensive line positions. You got Aku and Hall on the outside. He's lined up with 3 NFL players. He's got to eat. He's got to be able to eat. His speed off the ball was always a strength of his. You've got to be able to eat when you've got guys on the line with you that have that kind of potential and ability already. So I'm expecting big things from him. Donovan Kaufman is another person who he came in. I mean, don't get me wrong. He didn't have a perfect year at nickel, but his position at nickel isn't because, oh, well, you're not good enough to be the starting safety or starting corner. It's more or less because you could do either one of these jobs and do it well. So we're going to have you out here to fill whatever role needs to be filled while we've got our other 2 safeties and 2 corners on the field. So I think it speaks a lot to really the trust they have in him to have him at that nickel position, to be able to convert to covering. You might be chopping down a tight end. You might be covering their number 1 receiver. It just depends on what the alignment is from the offense, but they trust him, and he seems to be a mature young man, and I really like the prospect of him breaking out big time this season. On offense, it's tough to say. It's tough to say because I don't know. As much as I can guess and estimate what we have at quarterback, like Mike said, what we see at receiver is going to be dependent on what we get from the quarterback position. And I don't know how much there is to grasp onto. We're waiting to see. We're hoping that there is a turn in quality of play, in quality of cerebral understanding and quarterbacking, but we need to see it. So I've heard a lot about Killian Zaire. Yeah, all that. Him being more physically primed to play left tackle. All of the offensive line I really want to see. I mean, I feel bad for Brahms potentially, him not playing this last year. He chose to come back and play for the team, but Killian Zaire seems to have the highest upside if you believe scouting reports from pros. So I want to see what he can do over there, man. We haven't had a just shut down left tackle since I don't know, maybe Greg Robinson, maybe? Last just solid one. I mean, Prince. I can't pronounce his
Prince Tego.
No, okay, yeah. I mean, he was a very good prospect, which is why he got drafted. But I don't know if we've had hey, do you see that guy? He's got to go top 3 rounds. And they're talking like he has that type of potential. So I want to see that from him. And I already know what we're going to get from Tank. I already know what we're going to get from Jarquez. I think, honestly, when we look back at this being Jarquez's 2nd year and next year being Jarquez's 3rd year, we're going to wow at what he was able to do year 1, 2, and 3. His total body of work, I think, will be just as impressive as Tank's has been. So I don't think he's not going to break out. I think he's there. He just doesn't get all the snaps because there's somebody who's more senior and just as good ahead of him. But the other player I would say is, it's hard not to pick Camden Brown, right? I mean, we're hearing it from everybody, the players, the corners, the coaches. Camden Brown. We see the pictures. He looks like a NFL player right now. It's really hard not to pick Camden Brown, man. But I'm going to bag off of that, and I'm going to say Javarius Johnson, because there was a little bit of he got up out of here for a minute. He decided he really liked the direction things were going, and he came back. And one thing that we've seen after he got interviewed this week is they've embraced him. They put their arms around him and said, man, yeah, come on back. And he seems to have bought back in, and they believe in him. So I was surprised, as much as we had heard about Tavares Dawson, Javarius Johnson has that number 1 slot spot. This is. So he will be getting the primary snaps. And so I'm expecting that spot and the bulk of those snaps to go to him. and see what type of production we could get from the slot. We haven't had a productive slot receiver since Ryan Davis, and that was probably the one that we had before then. I don't know who was the last slot receiver we had that was just always in the right spot at the right time. I don't know. It's been a while, but
Eli
those are my two.
Stove?
Oh yeah, Stove was pretty reliable. He was injured a lot, but he was
Eli
pretty
Stove?
Yeah, he was
Eli
reliable.
Stove. Yeah.
What was the cat that we had that
I love
think
Davis though in the slot. Davis was just dead.
Yeah,
Quan Bray?
Oh, that was a while. Yeah,
Quan Bray was
10 years
pretty
ago.
good.
Yeah.
I liked him more as a returner than I did as a receiver.
I don't think we really, I mean, again, not a lot of people got utilized and reached their potential at receiver during those years. So, you know.
Factual.
Yeah, those are facts.
Anyway, you've heard from us, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely want to hear from you, and we are hearing from you, those of you who are watching with us live. But if you're watching on replay, let us know in the comments who is your breakout player this year, offense and defense, who takes that next step and contributes in a major way for Auburn in 2022. Guys, if you're watching, please share this video, help people to get in on this discussion. Join the conversation. Use that hashtag there. Smash the like button, guys, while you're at it and you're watching us. And if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm going to take a quick break and acknowledge the sponsors of the War Report.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit WarEagleOil.com.
Make sure you all support our sponsors. And if you want to support us financially, this is the way you can do it. You can get in on our YouTube membership program. A lot of great perks that are going to start popping up more frequently as we get into this season. Specifically, I'm talking about things like watch the film breakdowns, where we're going to be doing those on Mondays. So if you want to lock in and really kind of rewatch the game in a more detailed fashion, you can come watch the film with us. That's going to be happening on Mondays after the game. But outside of that, we are giving away tickets. Ticket giveaway to the Mercer game. This is going to be membership based only. So you have to be a member in order to win these tickets. As Mike G warned you last time, you had to be a member before today's live to make that happen. We went ahead and did the first pull of tickets, and congratulations to Matt Ellis. Now, this is one of those giveaways you don't have to be present to win. We'll figure out a way to get in touch with Matt, but Matt Ellis, congratulations to you. If you want to get the tickets and keep and hold on to them, all that kind of stuff, we'll get in touch with you, make sure we get you locked in for your tickets. But you do have 2 tickets to this Mercer game if those are things that you want to be able to take it.
Hey, good opportunity to mention, some of you guys don't use your full names as your YouTube ID. So if you are not on our mailing list, get on our mailing list so that we can figure out who you are, because Knick Knack Paddywhack is not a real name I can track down. Get on that mailing list so we know how to get in contact with you if you win.
Yep, absolutely. And then, outside of the ticket giveaway, which we do, again, we might have some more tickets to give away to this Mercer game. So stay tuned for that. But you still have to be a member in order to get those. But we are giving away a T-shirt. So whether you're going to the game courtesy of the War Report, you just want to wear something that's War Report related to a game, or you want to sit at the house and, root for your team in a War Report shirt, we are giving away a T-shirt today. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to enter that. We'll be doing that drawing here in about 20 minutes. Sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Once again, WarEagleOil.com is your place for all motor oil products and motor related products. So make sure you guys lock in with that.
Indeed, guys, let's pick up in a new segment. Let's preview one of the last units. We've talked about every position group, previewing them, letting us know who we think does well, who starts even. Let's talk about special teams. Let's talk about our specialist here. I know there's still some competition. They've been kind of mum about who the certain guys are going to be in certain spots, but even though we kind of have a clue who they may potentially be. But I want to take a look at our specialist, who's returning, who's incoming, and who is gone. So without further ado, here they are. So returning is Anders Carlson, Evan McGuire. Punter is Marshall Myers, Oscar Chapman. Long snapper, Kyle Vaccarella, Reed Hughes, Jacob Quattlebaum. Added is a new kid, kicker Alex McPherson. Punter, Marshall. I think we got Marshall Myers in 2 places here, and Oscar Chapman. But I think long snapper is Daniel Perez, and he gone. Ben Patton, who recently transferred out, and Aiden Marshall graduated. So here are our kickers, and what do we think? Let's start with. I'll start with you, B. Will. Our thoughts about the kicking game in terms of field goal, kickoffs. By all accounts, it seems like Anders Carlson will be the guy. But your thoughts about his production going into this year? A little disappointing. We know he got injured towards the end of last season. Your thoughts about him in this final year?
Well, it's somewhat comforting that we've got Alex McPherson, which I think he was the highest rated kicker in the class. I may be making that up, but somebody check my math on that. Anders Carlson was shaky last year before he got injured, and a question I had was that part of the reason he got injured? Was something ailing him and then it just broke, and that's what caused the injury? Or was he just a less accurate kicker than Big Brother? And honestly, I don't think we know the answer to that. You hope it was an off thing, or maybe it was something that was nagging at him that he just couldn't get over, and that the injury gave him time to, get off that leg, get it repaired, be back and at least to himself, and maybe even better. We don't want the kicking game to be a liability. 40 and in, we should be able to count on our guy. Maybe a road game, it's a little different, but 40 and in, you should be money. You should be money with 40 and in. Past 40, it gets a little dicey, and that's for any kicker on any level. 40 to 45 and 45 to 50. A truly special kicker will be somewhat reliable past 45 and 50. But really, can we please count on this guy 40 and in? I would love it if Anders Carlson could give us 40 and in. I don't think we know what to make of it until he gets out there. He starts kicking a couple, and they're not flying left and right uncharacteristically. They're aimed right down the center, but he didn't have enough leg from 52. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's not unreasonable, but I'm just hoping that kicking game, man, is exactly what we need it to be. Because I still don't think, even if we are a better quarterback team, it doesn't mean we're going to be a high-flying offense. And I fear that some people will try to make that equation that, oh, well, look, we're not scoring 35, 40 a game, so why did we go to TJ Finley? Or why did we bring in Robbie Ashford? Or why do we have Zach Calzada here? There are many rungs between where we were quarterback-wise, quarterback play, and not just personnel play, because TJ was a part of that as well, and what the next step is. We can take the next step forward, and that could be ball control, consistent drives, holding the ball, possessing the ball, and giving our kicker something easy to hit. That would have won us many games. Well, more games than we actually won last year. So the kick game needs to be consistent. I sincerely hope it's something that we can count on, similar to what we have with Oscar Chapman. Man, he is great. Oscar Chapman is a very, very, very good punter, and we wasted a great season from a great punter last year. Field position would have been something that between our defense and our punter, we could have dominated, but our offense couldn't generate enough yards to flip fields many times. So it was an issue. Between this punter, what we expect from Anders Carlson, our field goal kicker, man, please just let us win some games. Let us just 2005 and 4 win some games, like defense, field position, special teams. Yes, I would love to win some games that way. Would absolutely love it. And hopefully those guys are healthy and prepared to contribute their best season yet. That's what I'm hoping.
Guys, let me ask you. Donnell says Oscar equals Ray Guy Award. We know
Ray
how
Guy.
valuable Oscar Chapman has been in the punting game, and he's been the real deal. What are you guys' thoughts about the prospects of him at least being a finalist for the Ray Guy Award?
I think it's definitely in the cards. Field position is going to matter. Sure. And if he's flipping the field constantly and getting us out of bad situations where maybe we went 3 and out in our own territory, I think that could be in the cards for him, man. Like, listen, man, you're a punter. Go out there and kick the ball as far as you can the other direction. Don't shank any. And, put your team in a good position. This is one of those underrated things that nobody talks about until you go out there and he messes it up. And the other team scores. So part of a very good offense is about winning. A good team about winning the field position battle, and your punter is a huge part of that. So you're going to go 3 and out sometimes. And when you do, you need to be able to flip the field and give your defense enough cushion to work with. And he's going to be a huge part of that. I could see him being a finalist for that award, certainly.
Ike, your thought about who we have coming back and returning. I'm assuming Anders Carlson will be the guy. What kind of year are you expecting from him? I'm pretty sure this is a year where he didn't have a bad season, but there was some disappointing moments for him. I expect he wants to atone for some of those. What are your thoughts about how he performs this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think Anders has been a very good kicker for us. Again, I think I've said this before. I think people, for whatever reason, compare him to his brother a little bit too much, and that's a hard legacy to live up to because his brother was an amazing kicker. Like, he was one of those guys where it's like 50 plus, you still send him out there because he's got an opportunity to knock it down. Anders has just as big a leg. He's just not as accurate from deep. And coming back from an injury, I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of how much from the talks from the coaching staff, he still has the same kind of big leg that he's always had. So definitely looking forward to seeing what kind of season he's going to put up. I do think that it's going to be interesting. I expect, just kind of off the subject of Anders Carlson specifically, but I do think that Evan McGuire is going to get involved more in the kicking game this season. He will likely be handling some of the kickoff duty this season, so that Anders doesn't wear his leg out, coming back from whatever. And he's just got to be able to be the field goal guy. Yeah,
with Ben Patton going, I mean, the huge opportunity for Evan, right?
Yeah,
there's a big opportunity for Evan to step in because we don't talk about the kicker ever getting hurt, but you need a backup plan at kicker as well too. So if Anders is the guy, then he won the job. People better keep an eye on Evan McGuire because we may need him. So
I know this isn't like the sexy conversation to have. We're sitting here talking about kickers and punters, and but
we'll be blasting them if they go out there and miss.
Right. I was about to say you nobody cares until they're missing field goals or shanking kickoffs into the third row or something like that, or punt gets kicked off the side of your foot in a crucial moment in the game, right? But so the kicking game, it matters, man. Like being able to flip the field, as Mike talked about, being able to keep it away from dangerous returners in the kick game, and then having the confidence that you don't have to go for it on fourth. Like, you don't have to be Lane Kiffin. You can actually, kick field goals and get points. You cross the 30-yard line, coach, I got you. Right. Like that's a confidence that you have, and it changes how you call plays. Honestly,
that's true.
Knowing what your kicker's capability is changes how you call plays once you get close to the range of what they're able to do. Now, I know we get accused a lot of bagging on the previous guy, but I think that sometimes it made him a conservative play caller because he had Carlson in his back pocket and he knew, all right, well, he's good from here. I don't really have to get any more yards to get points.
Right.
And so I hopefully, as good as I hope that that Anders is going to be this year, I hope that we still have an aggressive mentality, but I don't want to go full lane. Never go full lane kicker. If that's just never go full lane kicker.
That's a T-shirt.
Yeah,
no,
that is
never
a
go full lane kicker.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. In no man's land, your kicker changes a lot of things.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're just outside that 35-yard line, if you're in that area, that's a 52-yard field goal from there.
Mm-hmm.
And having a kicker who can go out there and nail a 50-yarder gives you options and makes that decision maybe a little easier than going for it on 4th and 5 from the opposite 35. Right.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how that works out because he was not great from 50 and beyond.
Yeah.
I don't know if he made one kick from beyond 50 yards last year.
I don't know if he did.
So, it matters in no man's land. And again, if you're Evan McGuire with Patton going, and the new kid McPherson is technically in that room, but because seniority matters to these coaches, I wouldn't be surprised to see them send Evan out there in lieu of Anders. And you have to. And man, you're talking about being ready for your moment. You are a kicker. You have one damn job.
Yeah.
Just one.
Man, and we talk about going from sitting in a dark room to the spotlight firmly on you. And everybody, like, if there are any golfers watching, when I step up to the first tee box, you know what I hate? I hate when the group behind me pulls up and they're waiting on me to hit. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to shank it because they're watching. Just because they're watching. I hate when they do that. So, like, when I'm golfing, I sit back to let them tee off and then go so they don't feel like I'm staring at them. The audience of 3 is enough for me to shank my golf ball. I can't imagine going out there to kick in front of 90,000 people.
Yeah.
That is as high pressure as it gets. And because you do nothing almost the whole game, and then they call on you to win it.
Yeah.
Talking about being ready for your moment, kickers matter.
Yeah, it's rough, man. A kicker's life is rough because literally nobody cares about you until you screw up.
Right.
That's it.
I'm telling
That's
you.
it.
You could
That's
be.
it.
Alex, do you remember?
I knew you were about to mention this. I knew you were about to go here.
It was a guy that missed all the field goals versus LSU. He missed like 5. Was this 07?
05. This was 05. Kenny Irons put up 200 yards on the ground at LSU. And who was the kicker?
They toilet papered his house after. And they drew on his car with lipstick. John Vaughn.
John Vaughn.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you,
man. And he was a pretty reliable. Like, he was a decent kicker. But boy, he had a bad day at the wrong moment. I mean, a game we lost by 3 points, and he missed 5 field goals. Holy crap!
I just think you remember.
That's funny.
My dad was like, he was watching the game. He didn't like Tommy Tuberville because he said Tommy Tuberville threw kids under the bus. So the interview after that game, they had talked to Tuberville. It was halftime or something because we were up, and he was like, "Well, if our kickers would make their kicks, we'd be winning this game." And then my dad was like, "See, I don't like that Tuberville." Man, come on, he missing all the kicks though. He missing all the kicks.
Oh my god, you guys threw it back with Philip Yost. We called him Sunshine.
Yeah, I remember.
Philip Yost, he was Sunshine, right? So
Harsin, you guys interviewed Harsin, and Harsin was pretty excited to talk about his kickers.
He said he wanted to talk about them because listen, again, fans can be brutal and ignorant sometimes, but these guys have been putting in work at the kicking position. They have some interesting things that they do where they have to stay ready during practice. Evan was telling us about this, and they'll randomly run the kicking team out there to kick a field goal. And you have to make a field goal on the spot in like 30 seconds or something. So it is interesting, the situational football that they're even doing with the kickers. At any point during the practice, during a certain period, if I remember this correctly, they'll run the kickers out there and say, all right, make a kick. That's it. And you have to nail the kick. So I can only imagine from 50 yards, the challenge for a kicker is you have to get distance, but you also have to get the ball up. Yeah. Because if you try to drive it too much and it has a low trajectory, it's going to get blocked. We've seen it happen. It's tough, man. From 50 plus for a kicker in the 2013 Iron Bowl, It wasn't just the kick six. There was a blocked field goal in that game, was there not?
I believe so.
That we picked up. Yeah, he kicked it too low, man, and it got blocked, and we recovered it. And I really feel like kicker will be something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on as the season goes on. I'll be really excited. Like, listen, I hope Anders has the same as that quarterback. Whoever they send out there, I hope does well. But I would not be upset to see Evan McGuire get his shot to go out there and just start raining in 50-yarders. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
The other two places that we have not talked about that were on that list.
I'll bring it back up.
Well, I didn't put who's holding for them, right? That's part of the battle. But I don't even know who that's going to be this season because sometimes it's a backup quarterback.
Yeah, usually
blah, blah,
backup quarterback. Yeah.
But the other one that I think is important that, again, you don't think about until it's a problem is the long snapper. And if you think about the battery that we've had recently, we don't really have many issues with bad snaps on kicks. Like they're usually pretty good snaps until that guy's not there anymore. And then you're like,
oh yeah.
Like, again, nobody cares about what's his name, Quattlebaum, until he snaps a punt over Oscar Chapman's head. And you're like, well, who is this bum?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Amazing name, by the way, Quattlebaum. Name. That's a great
so
name.
I don't know. Again, I know it's not a sexy conversation to have on a Wednesday night, a week and a half before the season starts.
Sure.
But again, these are names of players who, a lot of these guys, they have the longest careers in the NFL because it's such a luxury to have someone who you don't have to worry about doing these things.
Right.
You don't have to worry about the guy who's punting. You know he's going to boot it 40 to 60 yards every time. You don't have to worry about your kicker because I know I can try them out there anywhere from 25 to, heck, if you're, what's the name? Justin, the Ravens kicker.
Justin Tucker.
If you're Justin Tucker, anywhere from 25 to 65 yards.
Right.
We got an automatic 3 points. Right.
Screw him.
What do you have against the Ravens?
Fantasy football. Yeah, he's a great kicker and all.
He's
an amazing kicker. But every time I needed him, he missed. So,
but yeah, so again, it's not sexy, but like when you're missing that guy, I remember, again, big 49ers fan, the guy who was the typical holder for the 49ers couldn't play, and then they put I'm a fan, and names just always escape me, even though it doesn't matter how popular the player is. The guy who plays fullback for the Niners,
Juszczyk.
Yeah, Kyle Juszczyk was out there holding for an entire game because the guy who and he was perfect every single time. And there was a big storyline going into the game. 49ers didn't have their typical holder in there. And, we weren't scoring a lot of touchdowns that season. So we knew we were going to be kicking field goals. And Juszczyk went out there. So it's just important, man. It's important to have people in that battery that are comfortable with one another. The holder needs to get the ball down in the correct way the kicker likes, because kickers are quirky. It's like if you move the ball this kind of way and it's not the way I'm used to doing it, sometimes it'll mess with their stuff. It's important. So, we don't talk about everybody. If you're on the team, man, we going to talk about you, bro.
Yeah.
We want to see you succeed. And again, everybody's going to give you hell if you screw it up. Everybody is.
Sure. Erica Ratney asked, and appreciate you watching with us. She asked, did Ben Patton see the writing on the wall with Carson coming back? Why did he transfer?
I think he saw the writing on the wall with McPherson and with Evan McGuire.
Already here. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day,
because listen, your only opportunities to get out there and kick are really, he's not a punter, right? So Evan McGuire can punt as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So he can't punt. So you miss that opportunity. He's not, he had his struggles with that in that first game with the short kick or whatever, but he kicked, he kicked a really great one in the Bama game. He was amazing in the Bama game. But he's not beating out Evan. He's not bringing out Anders for the first team kicking duties if Anders is healthy. So unless Anders goes down again, and then you've got McPherson and McGuire that you've got to compete with for the backup duties there, that's tough, man. And so you just go somewhere where they need a kicker.
Right.
They need a kicker. I can kick. Boom. Let's get in here and get it done.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad decision on his part because, again, you're banking on someone getting hurt to lose that job or being abysmal, right? Like Anders has got to take a huge turn in the opposite direction, and he probably was coming back out there banging them joints in fall camp, and he was like, "Nah, well, never mind."
Yeah.
That's funny. Good combo, guys, and looking forward to seeing our special teams do their job and not be. I hope that we're not having to talk a lot about special teams this year, right? Like when we do talk about them, I want to talk about
for touchdowns.
Right.
Yeah.
Punt return.
So that's the only thing. Like I couldn't find a ton of information. I did want to have a conversation about specialists when in the return game, but I couldn't find a ton of information on who had been returning. We talked to Kaufman a little bit about this in our interview with him, and he said that he had been on both kickoff and punt return duties, potentially. But we do know Javarius Johnson had been doing some punt return duties. I do anticipate him being back in that role for us again this season. But the other kickoff person is going to be interesting because that person rotated a lot last year.
Yeah.
Pritchett was back there a lot. Jarquez Hunter was back there quite a bit.
I think I heard one practice they had Damari back there as a kickoff.
Oh, see, that's interesting.
So I think it's going to be Nehemiah.
Pritchett had been doing a lot of the kickoff duties later in the season. I do think it's going to be interesting to see who's out there on the kickoff team as a returner because we have a lot of guys I think that could fill into that spot. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see who they trust to go back there and potentially give us a spark if needed with a big return.
I'm curious to see what if depending on how involved Kaufman is, I'm curious to see if he gets the opportunity to do something in special teams as well. But we will definitely find out the closer we get to the
Keontae
season.
Scott, actually, I saw some of his tape. He's a decent returner. I was like, it'd be interesting.
We got options, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We definitely want to hear from you guys, those of you who are watching on replay, your thoughts about special teams. Is this a big year for Anders? Do we see some of the other guys? You guys let us know definitely in the comments section. Guys, in case you don't know, we are giving away a Wiggle Wiggle War Damn Eagle t-shirt courtesy of War Eagle Oil. Drop the hashtag, get your weight up in the comments to enter to win. You don't have a lot of time, guys, because we know how we do it these days.
You got a lot more time than I thought. Hold on, because I need to get this stuff. I had this set up already, but you know what? I think I did it on my other computer, so that doesn't count.
Oh, so we got to start. You want to do the drawing a little bit later?
Nah, give me just a second. I'll have it ready. Boom. But yeah, you got time to get in here now because it's not gonna collect all the stuff in there. So
Cleveland Brown says with Mike G picking, actually I picked Jason.
I
picked Jason. Mike G picked you picked Nehemiah Pritchett and
Jake Simpson.
Yeah, Jalen Simpson. So he's going with Zion Puckett.
Zion's a good one, man. Like
a good one.
Yeah.
Again, he's a guy when we talked about the defensive backfield and the safety room that I thought was going to be interesting as one of those hybrid safety linebacker types just because of his size. One of the guys, who's played at Auburn recently that has kind of filled into that role in the NFL is Jamian Sherwood. Jamian Sherwood's playing like a hybrid safety linebacker right now for the New York Jets. So I can see Zion being that guy. He's looked good. Okay. He's looked good in the preseason. Now he's still, he was a fifth round guy, so he's not getting out there with the first team, but he looks like he's going to earn another spot on the roster. And he's been making a couple of big plays, a couple of good plays during the offseason, man. He's just a ball player, man. He loves ball. He goes out there and he hits people hard. And, he makes his presence felt both vocally and with his pads out there every time he steps onto the field. So I'm looking for Zion Puckett to have that kind of don't bring it over the middle because he's lurking back there type of things and down box safety / linebacker causing havoc on the run. So, yeah, I think Zion could have a big year. Interested to see how he's going to be utilized in this defense.
There's a lot to like in that defensive backfield.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about him, but our guy Donovan Kaufman, I'm looking forward. I don't think it's going to. I think they're an underrated group on this team right now. DJ James. I mean, there's a lot of talent back
we didn't.
there.
Now, DJ James is a name we didn't mention at all. And
Yeah.
everybody talks about how he's a solid player who just, if you, I did a building rapport with the guy from Locked On Ducks for Oregon, and he talked a little bit about DJ James and how he's just a good corner. Like, he was solid for Oregon. And that's a league that throws the ball around a lot. So if he's being solid in the Pac-12 in pass coverage, you can say that he's a good corner, right? His speed is something that people have talked about as well. We've got a good cornerback group, man. Whoever goes out there as the starting corner better not screw up, is all I'm saying, because that the guy behind you might not let you get back out there on the field.
Those are facts.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm loving the fact that we got some depth at that position, especially losing our second round pick this year. The fact that we have a lot of depth coming back is encouraging to see. And don't forget I'm hearing good things about Caden Bridges as well. So I'm excited to see him step in that role opposite of Zion to see how he does as well. So definitely looking forward to that.
Let's get to
is it draw time?
Let's get to the proceedings. Get your weight up. Giving away this here t-shirts. Winner chicken dinner goes to Morris 2. Not Morris 1, but 2. Morris the second. Let us know what's up.
For sure. And we want to definitely take some time. If you didn't win, our next sponsor can help you to chill a little bit, okay? There'll be other opportunities.
Treat your boys. Chill Boys underwear is designed for maximum comfort with enough space to keep you cool, calm, and comfortable. Chill Boys underwear will help you keep the boys close, not too close. When the game is on the line, you won't break a sweat with Chill Boys underwear. Whether it's left boy, right boy, or both boys, Chill Boys provides your boys comfort like you never felt. Maximize your chill with Chill Boys.
Definitely go check out our guys at Chill Boys. This is quality underwear that they're making here. You guys have commented
and we're not
on
saying
social
that
media.
just because they're a sponsor of ours. I actually enjoy wearing it. Like, it's
The socks are amazing. I don't know how to describe their socks. Actually, I do, but you guys made fun of me when I did it. All right. But
you doubled and tripled down. I thought you was okay with it, Mike.
But yes, the socks are crazy. They have this like light hoodie like shirt, like the material is just very breathable. Stuff you can wear indoors, lie down in, and just feel comfortable all the time. I highly recommend Chill Boys. Those guys got it right. They literally, this is one of those companies that came up with a product like, what do guys want in their clothing, right? In their shirts and their t-shirts and their socks and underwear, and they made a great product. So code rapport to get 15% off at Chill Boys.
Indeed. And Morris says he is
Hey.
So Morris, here's what we need you to do, good sir. We need for you to email us, business@thewar report. We need your name, physical address, as well as your shirt size. Please put your shirt size, or else, Mike G, what are we giving them?
Medium. It won't fit. I can tell you already, there's nobody who fits a medium. Nobody.
I fit in one once, but I ain't wear it.
Yeah, I think the rule for a medium is if it will fit you, it will change before you put it on. Because the rule is that it can't fit. It looks like it fits. Let's shrink, guys. So,
oh man,
mediums.
So let's get into towards the end. Let's get into some of your questions, some of your comments. Drop some questions that you may have for us during this time. We'll try to get to those. First one we want to get to, or a comment we got from Donald Johnson, says Aku leads in sacks because Hall faces double teams this year. Thoughts, gentlemen?
This is one of those things where I like the defensive line. I like that Jason Jones and Thanos plugging up the middle, like some guys have a chance to go off. Echo is one of those guys. All eyes are going to be on Derek Hall, but man, let me tell you something. He was running down quarterbacks in that backfield at times, and it was impressive. He takes great angles to the ball carrier, and I think he could. I think he could actually sneakily come away. Now, Derek Hall wants to set that single season sack record, but Echo might be the beneficiary of all the attention that Derek gets.
I'll say this. If Derek Hall is getting double teamed, Kobe Wooden is gonna destroy everybody's game plan.
Yeah, right.
Like Kobe poison, right?
I mean, Kobe's too good. And that's not to say Derek Hall's not good, because Derek Hall's amazing. But like, he's just too good. Like, you can, on obvious passing downs, you're like, oh, okay, we gotta maybe chip right on Derek Hall. We're gonna use a running back or a tight end to chip before they release, something like that, and then we're gonna use tackle center to go double, which means Eku Leota is gonna go nuts, right? And then if you do couple that with a Marcus Harris or a Jeffrey Mba on the inside on passing down, it's like, how do you win? How do you win that against that much athleticism consistently? If those guys play disciplined enough in the pass rush, man, it's going to look like the Bama game every week.
True story. True story.
I mean, Brody Croyle will get away easily. He will have gotten off good compared to what this team is going to do to quarterbacks this season if they don't find a way to handle people one-on-one. If they've got a double team, it's bad business. It's going to be bad business, man. And because I just don't expect us to do 3-man rush stuff a lot this year. I think we're going to be sending folks and making that quarterback get rid of the ball early and have that closing speed that we've been hearing about from the defensive backfield do its job.
Agreed. Auburn Dad says, are y'all surprised about true freshman Camden Brown and Damari Austin having made moves in fall camp to get a ton of playing reps?
Jarquez Hunter was injured, so Damari Austin was probably being brought along just in case. We did hear about a situation where Tank was out for practice, so Damari Austin got some additional reps there.
Right. Yeah.
And listen, Damari Austin's just freaking good. So no, I think that they want to make sure that young man comes along in the offense. Tank doesn't need the reps to be able to get there. Jarquez Hunter, again, the only thing that I saw as an issue with him is his pass protection or his blocking skills needed some work. But again, he's coming back from an injury, so they had to work him in there a little bit more. So that's not really surprising. And then Camden Brown, we've kind of raved about him a little bit already, but if you're that good and you're a big body target, right? Like, it's different when everybody, and this is going to sound like I'm taking a shot at him. Like when you're Jay Fair, right? And they've got 2 or 3 guys who are similar in body style to you, who have more, they've got more time in the system, then it's easier to get lost in that shuffle than it is for Camden Brown. He's a big body receiver who's got great ball skills, right? So you just throw it up in his vicinity, he's going to go up there and get it. And he's physical. They say that he's one of those guys, he likes to get out there and push people around.
Yeah, he reminds me of a stronger, faster Sammy Coates. Right.
Just saying a lot because Sammy Coates is
saying a lot.
Yeah.
And he was fast.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy had burners, and Camden looks like a guy who can go up and get a jump ball. It's going to be crazy to see. Outside of Camden, like, I really like Damari Austin. So this probably sounds like I'm getting down on him, but like, I don't see a scenario outside of injury where he doesn't redshirt this year.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say.
No, I don't.
I mean, you've got 2 backs that that carry the majority of the load who are back again this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got
Sean Jackson.
Yeah, you've got a short yardage back / maybe, an additional blocker if they want to do, a 2-back set with a primary blocker or fullback type of situation. You're likely going to have Shanker playing a little bit of that in an H-back scenario where he's going to be coming back and playing kind of a fullback in a power I. So I don't know where a lot of snaps come for Damari Alston again, like you said, unless there's injury situations that happen.
Yeah, this staff has old school vibes to me. Like they've got old school, save them, develop guys for a year, and throw them out there when they're ready. So if I think that's how much I think Camden Brown has shown these coaches that he hasn't fallen into that bucket. Like came in and just the obvious talent. Remember, this is the guy we got when everybody was clamoring for Darius Clemens.
Right.
So it's kind of cool to hear that the guy who a lot of folks felt like was the fallback plan is murdering it in camp. Just
right.
You know what I mean? Already on the 2 deep. Nuts. Can't wait to see him.
Going back to Leota here. Does Hall and Leota? I think have we done effects or no?
Similar to this now where we were talking about multiple players with double-digit sacks, and I do think that that's a distinct possibility this year. I think that there's a possibility we have 3 guys. I've already talked about Kobe Wooden. I can see first game Mercer just absolutely
sack party.
Yeah, I mean, again, if we might have a double-digit sack game the first game of the season if these guys live up to the hype that I'm giving them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could legitimately see us getting 10 plus sacks in that one game if Mercer has to drop back and pass, just like destroying their offensive line. I just don't think Mercer's ready for that kind of physicality along the offensive line. I just don't. So
I mean, who do you? Yeah, someone's gonna go nuts in that game for sure.
Yeah.
All right, it's that time.
Yeah, welcome to another Jazzy Challenge.
Where is Jazzy for 100? Now, last time I think he just gave us 100 because he was on vacation and he was posting crazy and he didn't guess it. Where is he now? Where was he on vacation?
This could be he was like on a cruise somewhere, but this could be I could be 3 for 3 here. I've gotten the last 2 and the cities. So he came back from vacation. He's back in Missouri. He had to go home.
I think that's a safe bet. Let's say we'll go with Jazzy is in Oklahoma.
I'm gonna go Georgia.
GA.
All right, Jazzy, where are you, sir?
Tell us
Let
where
us
you
know,
at.
Jazzy.
Where you be?
And run that 100. All right. Robin Patel says, does Hunter and Tank both go for a thou wow on the ground?
Wow. What a question.
Do they both go for a thou wow?
Man, can you imagine? This offense is popping and both of them go for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a guarantee that one of them does, right? Like, I just don't see a scenario where one of them doesn't do it. For both of them to do it, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna go no on this just because of
Jarquez could have a very, very good season.
He can
come up short of 1,000 yards. Yeah,
correct.
If he split, if we're assuming both stay healthy,
yeah, correct.
Yeah, I think so. I think it could happen.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, but is it going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that depends on run blocking as well too, and balance on offense. Oh, it's so tough.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: if both go for 1,000, what kind of year is Auburn having?
10-2.
Yeah, I just don't see a situation where we're running because here's the things that you have to consider. You have 2 backs that rushed for 1,000 yards, not all purpose, but rushed for 1,000 yards. One of 2 things is happening. Either you're ridiculously good at run blocking, or you've got a competent pass game where they have to play you honest.
Yes.
And
that's what I'm saying.
If our pass game is competent and we have 2,000-yard rushers, and our defense is as good as we think it's going to be.
Yeah, you're winning those games. That's
right. Like you just don't lose games where you can run the ball that effectively. Like you just don't, because if your defense is good, they don't get the ball enough. The other team just doesn't touch the ball enough to win the football game.
Yeah, ball control. You're playing ball control. And sometimes the best defense is a good offense because it keeps the Bryce Youngs on the bench.
Yeah.
Right. So
Ike, are you saying Auburn wins 6 games?
Impossible. It's impossible. We don't have enough talent. There's not enough talent on the team to win 6 games.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not gonna win a bowl game. Oh my goodness. My guy Boomer said that crap. He put that in one of his deals, and
that was literally one of the worst takes. Yeah.
I bookmarked it. He was just, I just can't see Auburn making a bowl game. I'm like, all right, bro. Like,
at what point do we acknowledge that Big Game Boomer is trolling?
Yeah, I was like, you know me, and you said that. So there's no ignorance is no excuse, bro. Because you could have hit me up and be like, Mike, is Auburn going to make a bowl game? And I've been like, yes, I'm on the inside. They know they're going to make a bowl game. But nope, you put that take out there, Boomer. So I bookmarked it to bust you up in 6 weeks.
Cold takes. Loaded. Load them up. Freezing cold takes.
At freezing cold takes, baby. I'm tagging it.
Spicy Penguin asks, when are y'all doing record predictions?
Next week.
Sunday, actually.
Probably Sunday. We're going to do it on Sunday because we're going to do the preview for Mercer. So Sunday, we're actually previewing the entire season. So you definitely don't want to miss that particular show. Thanks for the question, Spicy. Thomas says, are you guys going to do a projected depth chart before the official one comes out to see how close you are?
I don't
know. We haven't put out any official thing. We don't normally do projected depth charts.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to do this because to project a depth chart. Yeah, there's just a lot that goes into that. I don't know that I have any interest in doing a projected depth chart. So I project that the best guys are going to win the jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not invested in who actually wins it. I mean, as long as they get on the field and prove why they won it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest thing there. But what we did over the past month is just talk about the position groups and who we like, but we never get we've never done, hey, this guy, we think this guy is it. He's going to start. I mean, the only ones we do that are the ones is like, I mean, who's going to say the Tank's not starting, right?
Yeah.
So other than that, nah. Robin Powell watching Josh Pate give his predictions on the SEC East and West teams last night. Their best and worst case scenario. Auburn's best case was 7-5.
All right, I'm gonna call my guy Josh Pate out on this one because this is kind of cap. He came on our show and admitted that he dropped a bag on Auburn for the over 6 games. So technically 7-5 is his worst case scenario.
Right.
Because you dropped the bag on the over. He said on our show, we got a quote graphic down, 7 or 5 or better. So maybe he thinks this is best and worst, so this is exactly what they're going to be.
Like they're 7-5.
It's like a trick answer. Like,
yeah. I can't see them not winning 7 games, right? So I don't know. I think this is a little bit of cap.
Jazzy says Indiana. I found the GPS mic out on my truck. Streak is over.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sending you another Apple tag for your birthday.
Why are you in Indiana, Jazzy?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah, that sounds depressing. Be safe, though. James Jordan says, is Robbie a better option at quarterback without Brahms? Seems like we will need mobility.
I think that this is a reasonable thought, if you ask me.
It's not unreasonable to think that. I just don't know how good the people behind Brahms are. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't know how good they are. So
yeah. Let me put it this way. I think that it could be a consideration because we learned about Brahms pretty late into camp.
Mm-hmm.
That if they feel like the guy who's filling in for him is not as good. It could be an adjustment. This is a stretch, and this complete hypothesis isn't based on any inside information.
All feelings, no facts right now.
Correct.
Go
It's
ahead,
all
man.
feelings. But I think that it could. I did cross my mind that if there's a shuffle going on the offensive line, there could have been a serious internal debate about whether they needed mobility at quarterback, whether they needed to adjust the offensive game plan significantly in the absence of Brahms. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they decide to go. But I wouldn't be surprised if this were a factor in who plays.
Okay.
I just wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erica says, facts or nah? Will the O-line have a breakthrough season?
Tweet
this year?
Tweet this at us. Please.
You know what?
Hashtag
Yeah,
facts or
if you tweet this at us, we'll probably do.
we'll do a
this
whole
one.
segment on it.
We'll do this one for sure. Tweet this one at us because I definitely want to be Will's take on this as well.
Mm-hmm.
This will be good. Yeah, tweet that at us, Erica, if you don't mind. If you don't mind. I don't see any more questions.
Yeah.
Don't see any more. So Ike, talk to the people about what they need to be doing right now as far as becoming a patron.
You need to just go ahead as soon as you're done with this video. Go ahead and click that join button so you can come on board with us and be a part of the War Report family. Things like the chat that you all are loving so much right now, not going to be available to you for the post-game show if you're not a member of the War Report. If you like to see film breakdown and get more in depth with things going on with the program and what happened in the previous game and not just hear us talk about it, but see us break down those plays, can't do that unless you're a member of the War Report. If you want to possibly get free tickets to games, guess what? Can't do that if you're not a member of the War Report. So go ahead and do that for us. Get on board with the team. We've already done the Mercer ticket giveaway. Congrats to our second winner. We gave away a second pair of tickets here. So Marshall Duggar, you won some tickets as well to this Mercer game. I told you guys we would possibly be able to give a second pair away. We might have some more coming up. I don't know for sure. Doesn't really matter because you know what? Unless you're a member, you might as well just disregard everything I'm saying right now. So if you need to become a member so you can get the free tickets, we already gave away something else, and that was a t-shirt. If you didn't get an opportunity to win that t-shirt today, you can go over and go to our merch store at thewarreport.com. The brand new and improved warreport.com is live right now, including the merch store. So you can go ahead and get on board with what we got going on there. The merch store, make sure you go and get your weight up in our merch store right there. Also, big shout out to the Auburn Express, which is our podcast platform. So if you are on podcasts and you'd like to hear the stuff in audio format, you want to be able to just put your phone down, walk away, be in the shower while you drive, whatever it is, and you can't look at it on the screen, you can go to the Auburn Express on any of your podcast platforms and be able to lock in with the War Report there. So thank you all very much to people who are already patronizing us over there on that platform. I was actually just informed while we are here talking about ticket giveaways that we have Jeremy Eccles and Jazzy with tickets to the game as well. I told you guys, be on board with the War Report. We're not playing games this year, man. We are out here Oprah Winfrey style giving away tickets to these games, man. So you guys need to make sure that you are locked in with the best content out here on the web when it comes to Auburn athletics.
Jeremy Eccles, congratulations. That's
Congratulations.
3 winners. So we got Matt Duggar, Jeremy Eccles, and who was our first person?
Matt Ellis was
Matt Ellis. Right? So you guys, business at the War Report so that we can email. All the tickets are digital now.
Yeah.
So you need to have your mobile device with you at the game and scan the tickets digitally, but it's a little square QR code or barcode that you can just put up there and scan your tickets. But that's 3 sets of tickets to game 1. Come on, man. Who else is doing live shows, giving away tickets to the Auburn football home game experience? The answer is nobody. Nobody else is doing it.
I don't know.
That's what Keith Sweat said, at least.
Nobody. Like me.
Just like that.
Robin says, will y'all be tailgating this year?
We might be popping up on some tailgates, but we probably will not be throwing our own tailgate this season.
Yeah,
but
drop us a pin on yours, Robin. We'll be there.
Nah, we're gonna show up at Deets tailgate, man. Deets.
Oh yeah,
we
can do more than one tailgate.
Deets with the meats.
I would say Deets got the best food though, so that's where I want to be.
All right.
Oh, show.
Our guy Robert Smalls, same thing, man. He was Georgia game last year. His chicken was slapping, bro.
Oh, yeah?
It was, he had all kind of sauce on that thing. Boy, it was good. So I'll be stopping by his tailgate again as well too.
CT in North Alabama says War Report gang. Remember Devin Aroma-Shadu said in an interview that a good wide receiver core could take the heat off of the running game. Do our receivers improve enough this year to do just that?
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think this is. I think the receivers have always been pretty good. I think this is gonna be about quarterback. Throw them some catchable balls, man, and see how much better people are. Surprisingly, like, oh my god, you mean Kobe Hudson leaving didn't mean that the room fell completely apart?
No, it was actually D-Rob. I think that was the big.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like
had wide receiver last year.
I appreciate the contribution that those guys had, but ultimately, I think even they would have had bigger seasons if we had more consistent quarterback play. So, getting the ball there isn't enough if you're going to be a great quarterback. Ball placement has to matter. I think it was funny now in the preseason. What did we hear about Robbie? They were talking about touch on his short throws.
Mm-hmm. He had to learn how to not throw it 100 miles per hour for every.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And then everyone jumped all over me last year when I said, hey, man, maybe it's not a good idea when the quarterback beams the ball from 5 yards away at a running back's face. Maybe that's not his fault. But, everyone's, well, you get your hands on it, you got to catch it. No, man, that matters. No quarterback worth a damn is saying that. He knows he threw that ball too hard. So, no, this is not a novel idea. I think that the receivers will be as good this year as the quarterback that's throwing them the ball. And listen, if for some reason our receiver core has improved enough to where they're bailing the quarterback out constantly and still making catches, I'm all about that too. I am. I just think it's hard to have a breakout season at wide receiver if your quarterback is not putting the ball in position for you to not only be able to make the catch, but make the run after the catch as well too.
Agreed. Guys, we want to thank y'all for hanging out with us. Also, welcome to those of you who became members during our live. Didn't get a chance to shout y'all out, but welcome to the family. Guys, do us a favor. Help other people find our content. Share this video on social media. Use the hashtag. Before you get out of here, smash the like button. And if you're new to our channel, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to interact with us on social media, that is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find us at The War Rapport. And if you're a TikToker, you can find us at TW Rapport. That's it for now, guys, but we definitely will be back this weekend on Sunday as we preview the upcoming season and give you our thoughts on what we think Auburn does this year. Great show. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.